Hello, and welcome to the Connection Conversation podcast. I'm Saundra Washington, and my guest today is Rhonda Sallee. Rhonda is an attorney who practices family law in the Chicago area. She ran for judge countywide in 2012, and also she ran for judge of the 5th Judicial Subcircuit in 2018. In addition, she's an administrative law judge for Chicago and also for the village of Oak Park. Rhonda, welcome.
Hi, Saundra. Thank you for having me.
Sure, I am delighted to have you as well. So you've run for judge. Tell me, please, what do you say to people who say, well, I never know how to vote for those judges? What's a good answer to that? What should you say to them?
What I generally say is, first I ask the question why, and the response is, I don't know who they are. So I always encourage people you got to do your homework, which includes Googling people's names. And let me say this too, a lot of people rely on the Bar Association evaluation. That list is good to show you who's actually running. Whether or not you accept their recommendations or their ratings is totally up to you, but I don't think that anyone should rely on one source. And I say that because a lot of times people, some of the candidates do not participate in that process. And when you don't participate in that process, you automatically get a not recommended. And that not recommended is not based on any investigation, evidence, or anything like that. So I always encourage people.
So you're saying sometimes if you use those Bar Association ratings, sometimes you'll see not recommended. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong or with the candidate necessarily. It's just they chose not to sit or participate in those interviews.
Correct. And participating in the process is not mandatory. So some people just opt not to do it. But if you opt not to do it, then the repercussions is you get a not recommended.
Oh, okay. Well, then back to you. So that's one way, as you said, that tells you who's running, but that's not the only way you can find out. You began to mention something about doing research on your own, Googling candidates. Does that work?
Yes. Several candidates have, if not all of them, have websites. You'll see the candidates out on the street shaking hands. I personally visited a lot of churches. I went to a lot of community meetings, a lot of organizations. I went to their meetings, and it's just a matter of getting to know as much as you possibly can about each individual candidate. Now, granted, it's limited time that you spend with these people, the candidates. It's limited time that you even have to investigate, do your own investigation or research. But at least you want to be able to say that you saw them, shook their hand, because you're going to come in contact with the judge before you come in contact with the president, who's at the top of the ballot, and the judges are generally and always at the bottom of the ballot.
All right. So the point you're making here is that, yes, most of us won't ever meet the president face-to-face or even the governor face-to-face, but many of us at some point in our lives will end up in a court and we will be there face-to-face with a judge.
Absolutely. If not you, then one of your friends, relatives, loved ones, somebody you know is going to come in contact with a judge.
Right. So that we should want to have some say onto who's sitting on the bench.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's almost like insurance. You pay your insurance because you may or may not use it.
Right.
Your homework about the judge and make sure you go out and vote for the judge because you may or may not appear in front of one of them.
Okay. Well, what it sounds like, though, it does require us all to be really educated citizens and educated voters. So what do you say to people who say, well, then maybe if I don't know about those judges, I shouldn't vote? I mean, is that what we say to people? If they don't want to vote for judges, they should stay home?
Absolutely not. Please don't stay home. Please don't stay home for various and sundry reasons. But the right to vote, there are a lot of sacrifices made for us to be able to vote. So we don't want those sacrifices to be in vain. But also, to not vote is a vote for the status quo. And a lot of people always used to tell me that, well, my vote doesn't matter anyway. It does matter. If a million people said the exact same thing and stayed home, could you imagine where we would be today?
Yeah, it wouldn't be good. Absolutely.
Right. The outcome would be different. So the very same people that didn't go out and vote, that one vote totaled up to 1 million, and now we are where we are.
Sure.
So it does count. Everybody's vote counts.
Right. Well, I want to just echo what you're saying. Everyone's vote counts, and it is really important. So, for those of you who are listening who live in the Chicago area, early voting is going on now. So, you need to get out there and do that. Don't wait till the last day. The last day is Election Day, which this year is November 6th. It's Tuesday, November 6th. But there's no excuse for waiting to the last day because there are polling places open throughout the city and the suburbs right now, in the Cook County area right now. So everyone, it's really imperative that you get out there and vote. Rhonda, I want to thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me, Saundra.
Sure, you have a wonderful perspective on the judges, and it encourages me to get out there and do a little bit of research and make sure I'm ready. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Bye-bye.